We had walked for hours, for 8 hours, I think. I was so tired, I couldn't handle anymore. No aguantaba los pies. I couldn't stand the pain in my feet. I was ready to give up and, well, die there in the desert. But there was a man that pulled me up and dragged me along. Ándale, mexicana, camina, he said. You can't die here. We rested for a few minutes and then we kept going, but I couldn't stand my feet. They were covered in blisters and bleeding. It was horrible. They kept telling us to stay together. We couldn't lose each other or else we wouldn't make it alone out there. When we finally arrived, we came to a big highway. I know now it's called a freeway. Well, we had to cross it and I couldn't do it. I didn't have the strength to run that entire distance. I cried and resigned myself to give up. I was going to stay there because I couldn't go any further. But the man that was helping me grabbed me again and dragged me across. It took everything I had to push myself across that last stretch. I thought to myself, just one last run and then I'll be there. I thought about seeing my daughter and how I didn't know if she was safe or where she was and how she wouldn't be safe until I was with her. I had to use all the power I had to get my body across that freeway. Nobody dreams of becoming an undocumented mother, Claudia would later tell me. She had faced the border and all of its horrors and survived. She will tell you that it was God or luck that she made it. Even she can't believe it sometimes. I know that Nati will remember her migration, and I think it will be a title case chapter in her life too. But only time will tell what that chapter will look like for her and how it will influence her life. As a mother, however, I worry about Claudia. Mothers don't always get compassion and time to grieve their losses and traumas. Sometimes they are the dam holding back the raging waters so that their children can run free. And they do, even if just for a moment. But what happens to the mother, her back bruised and swollen from the raging waters? Becoming undocumented added another level of burden and erasure to Claudia's maternal experience. Everything she experienced on the border would forever be part of her memory of Nati's childhood, but it wouldn't get a special photo album or memory book. Claudia would likely skip over it when people asked about Nati's toddler years, highlighting instead the lovely experiences she had in Mexico and then seamlessly transitioning to her new life in Houston. The family would come up with jokes molded out of the cutest and silliest memories. Hey, remember when Nati used to crawl behind the couch and scared us because we couldn't find her? And just like that, the joy of the memory of Nati crawling around her home in Mexico would take over the conversation in sweet nostalgia. The migration, the in-between, the how we got here, an unspoken presence was a story Claudia would carry inside of her that might only come out again if Nati decided to ask about it one day. Claudia and her daughter survived the border. So many women and children don't. Sitting on that couch with Claudia in her home, which she created while Nati started her day at school and Jackie slept safely in her bed, I found it hard to believe that this encounter might have never happened if things had gone differently. Claudia is still tormented by the most painful details of her migration, the ones she told me and the ones she didn't. She shared that she still had nightmares and still found herself suddenly sad and crying, así de la nada, out of nowhere. Later, I would understand more clearly what she meant and just how deeply the scars of the border were forever marked on her body.